He told us that he would cut the taxes on the rich and on big corporations, and we would all of us, get a $4,000 bonus as it trickled down to everybody else. Well, did you get a bonus? Did anybody you know get a bonus?
Stagflation is a not so easily achieved economic condition of stagnant economic growth, no economic growth, combined with high inflation and high unemployment all at the same time. We have not seen stagflation in this country in the 21st century. But Donald Trump is now running to make stagflation great again. Leading off our discussion tonight is Robert Reich, who served as Secretary of Labor under President Bill Clinton. He is a professor of public policy at UC Berkeley and co-founder of Inequality Media. Professor Reich, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know you have much to say about Trump economic policies, but I just want to do a quick back of the envelope sketch here, because I know for some people out there, they're hearing, what? Get rid of the income tax? I'd be better off. And it's like, well, OK, let's say you're making $100,000. You're in the 22% income tax bracket. You're going to have sales taxes on a lot of things that would be up, sales taxes through tariffs in effect, that could approach 20% or above. You could have interest rates on home mortgages that go way up into the double digits, and all sorts of other ways in which you are economically much worse off under this sales tax tariff regime than you would be under an income tax regime. And oh, by the way, when you lose your job because of all of this, your tax bracket actually goes to zero.
Lawrence, we have come to have such low expectations in terms of the coherence and rationality of Donald Trump that these kinds of proposals can very easily get under the radar. People say, well, he's just mouthing off again. The fact of the matter is, this is serious. He doesn't put forth many serious proposals. This one seems to be serious because he does say it in a way that makes you think, well, the income tax, getting rid of the income tax might be a pretty good idea until you actually think about the consequences. In order to have enough revenue from tariffs to match what you would lose by getting rid of the income tax, you would have to have a tariff that was at least in the range of 130 to 140%. This is way beyond Smoot-Hawley. I mean, this takes us onto another planet, because with that kind of a tariff, that's like the largest sales tax you could conceive of. That would bring the economy to not only stagflation, but probably much worse.
Yeah, that $30,000 car you have your eye on becomes a $60,000 car, and there's nothing about having your income tax reduced that makes that more affordable for you. Professor Reich, there's more to the try. Even before he got to this utter madness of let's just finance the government through tariffs, there's so much more about what he's been saying about economic policy that you have been taking apart in your way. Take us through some of that.
Well, I mean, he's talked about exerting control over the Federal Reserve Board, which would basically eliminate the credibility of the Fed in terms of the Fed setting interest rates. He's talked about rounding up 11 million or 15 million people who are in the United States who are undocumented, which would have drastic effects on our labor market, not in a positive way, because we need those people. If you look at what they do and how much revenue they actually bring in, he is talking about reducing taxes on the highest income earners. And we're talking about all sorts of taxes. And what's the effect there? Remember, in his term of office as president, he told us that he would cut the taxes on the rich and on big corporations, and we would all of us, get a $4,000 bonus as it trickled down to everybody else. Well, did you get a bonus? Did anybody you know get a bonus? We could go on and on. This is the most ridiculous, to call it a plan, dignifies it.
And then there's the other elements, which are economic elements. For example, just getting rid of Obamacare. That's an incredible economic hit. Never mind the health conditions that could be affected by it, but the actual economic life of people who depend on Obamacare, who cannot possibly afford health insurance without it.
Well, the interesting thing, Lawrence, is we are having a substantive discussion right now. We're talking about real people, real policies, real laws, real economics. And Donald Trump doesn't live in this realm. He throws things out there. And he says, yes, I'm going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Yes, I'm going to give the oil and gas industry free rein to do whatever they want to do, as long as, by the way, they give me $1 billion for my campaign. I'm going to basically wreck the economy with the Smoot-Hawley, kind of the most egregious form of Smoot-Hawley on steroids you could imagine. And people are not putting this together, and they're not seeing the disaster for what this actually is. I mean, yes, all the things he said about the democracy, about our democracy, are bad enough. But taking a wrecking ball to our economy and really imposing extraordinary costs and hardship on so many working class, middle class, and poor people, well, it's hard to find the words, quite frankly.